This is a new series of videos I plan on doing, talking about some of my favorite TV shows. I won't be doing, overall huge deep dives into plot outside of just the broad strokes, and I'm definitely not going to do spoilers. I mainly want to talk about why these shows appeal to me. And if you haven't seen them, I hope you do check them out. And if it's been a while, I hope you decide to dust them off and revisit these worlds. But I've got my damn fine cup of coffee. I have my cherry pie. So join me as we investigate Twin Peaks. Who killed Laura Palmer? That was the big question. That's what kicked off Twin Peaks. It was in all the advertising. It was in the newspaper. It was on the television. And I'll freely admit, when this show came out, I was not interested at all. I did not care. I was in the 11th grade. It came out in 1991 here in Australia. And I was not interested in a show like this at all. And I know it was huge. It was everywhere. It was on. It was just advertised all the time on TV. I think it was on Channel 10 here, and it was just one of those things like Twin Peaks, the biggest show from America. It's like, you must watch this. I'm one of these people that I don't react well to peer pressure and things like that. If people tell me I've got to do something, I generally go, nah, I'm not getting involved. And that's definitely with television and movies and that. That's not saying that I won't take advice and I won't take recommendations. But when people just hit you with that, you must watch this, you have to watch this, you need to watch this to live, it's like, I'm just like, nah, I really don't. I like to discover stuff for myself. And yeah, that was just one of those things where I just ignored Twin Peaks. It was like, came and went, and I didn't think about it after it was off the air until I'd say it was 1996. I'm gonna say I was over a friend's place and he had cable TV, which was awesome. I didn't have access to that at the time, and there was a channel called Arena, and Arena used to play on Friday nights really B and C grade horror movies and stuff like that, and they had a very attractive lady who used to present the shows, so we used to watch it for the movies and because she was very pretty. And one week it was a Friday night, and we'd finished watching the whatever the movie was at the time. I can't remember that, but up next was Twin Peaks, and we didn't plan on watching it. It was just one of those things, like we were busy talking and it just started. And I had that sort of half eye on the television and half eye on the conversation. But it started really enthralling me. I was like, because it was so out there. And it was one of these things where I was just like, what is going on here? And I got really interested into the, so I sort of started ignoring the conversation and just watching the television. And before I knew it, the episode was over, and I was like, I got to watch the next episode, and which meant next Friday at 11 o'clock at night or whenever it was like the next episode was on. Now I had no idea how far into it was. It ended up being only, I think, episode 2. So this show started with a movie-length premiere, and then episode 1, episode 2 onwards. So I wasn't that far outside of what had already happened. And that was great because it meant I could easily pick it up and run with it. And that was how I got into Twin Peaks. It was by accident. And I got so invested into this world because it is, in many ways, it is a crime drama, but it's also a soap opera, really. The way it's played like a soap opera. And the thing that's really amazing, and this is the genius of David Lynch, who is one of the co-creators along with Mark Frost, the characters they create. There is no character in the show that's not interesting. like just some background character that just like, who's that? That character's interesting. It's brilliant. It really is amazing with that. Lots of character development. Everyone gets lots of character development. And it's one of these programs that you look at it now and go, how did this really get made at all? It's like, why was this picked up? Because it is really out there. It's as I said, it's a crime drama. It's a soap opera. There's supernatural elements to it. There's a lot of mysticism. There's a lot of just lots of interesting theology as well. And as I said, all the characters are fantastic. It's from your higher main characters all the way down to, as I said, your sort of side characters and background characters. I'll freely admit that it sort of wavered a bit in its second season because Lynch was off doing Blue Velvet, and while he was away, the plot sort of dog paddled for a bit. But one of those more amazing things about this show is like it ended in an interesting way, and there was like this sort of post note saying, in 25 years, characters would meet again, and you think, oh, okay, that's nice. A few years later, David Lynch got to revisit Twin Peaks with the movie Fire Walk with Me, and Fire Walk with Me is fantastic in the fact that it's a prequel, or it can be a sequel. You can watch it before you start watching the TV show. You can watch it afterwards. If you haven't watched Twin Peaks before, I'd say watch it afterwards. Do not watch it first. Because there's a lot of stuff going on, and you're like, why is this relevant? But if you watch all 30 odd episodes of the show, and then go back and watch Fire Walk with Me, you'll see connections, and it's beautifully put together. It really is. The amazing thing about Lynch and Mark, is it Mark Frost? It's Mark Frost, yeah. I'm trying to remember if it's, I was going to say Mark Snow, but he's the composer for the X-Files music, I think. Mark Frost and Lynch, they returned 25 years later with a third season, which is absolutely magnificent. And it really does pick up. And I remember watching it as it was coming out, like season 3, and I did feel like, have I missed something? But it's time. It's like 25 years. There's so much to it, and I will freely admit that I got really obsessed with it. But the other thing about this show that I really do recommend, if you haven't watched it, it is a sit down and watch show. It's not a background noise show, because there is just stuff that happens, and if you miss it, you'll be like, you will get sort of lost. You'll be like, what are they talking about? Who is Bob? What is this? So yeah, there's lots of interesting stuff like that. So yeah, Twin Peaks for me, I was late to the party, but I did arrive. I arrived fashionably late. And it really did become an obsession almost. It really did. It's like one of those shows that you just, I will freely admit, I did become one of those people that was like, you haven't seen Twin Peaks, you should check it out. I never do a hard sell though. I will try to get people to check it out on their own. But it's also one of those things that when people go, what's it about? It's like, I can't tell you. I can you say, oh, well, it starts off as a murder mystery, and then it goes in multiple different directions. But yeah, it's brilliantly designed, because if you are a fan of police procedurals, there is some of that in there that'll keep you interested, like the stuff with the police and FBI agent Dale Cooper. If you're interested in just that, as I said, the soap opera aspect of the show, there's lots of that in there too. And just really clever dialogue, and really, as I said, really clever characters. Lots of famous people that you'll recognize from everything else. And I will do a bit at the end of this video talking about some of the main characters that were in the show. There are too many for me. I could do a bloody half an hour video just talking about the people in it. But some of the big names in that are from other things. Lots of actors from RoboCop, but it's as I said, it's one of those interesting shows because of everything about it is it's like the sum of the parts makes the whole from the sum of the parts. It's just brilliant. The other thing I love about it is that there isn't a heck of a lot of like merch or extra stuff, but there are some books, and if you like me and you do want more about the world and stuff like that, there is some stuff that was done back in the day and actually not that long ago. So part of the mystery of Laura Palmer is they find her diary, because she's a high school girl. They find a diary, and that becomes like an interesting sort of thing that they have to find. I think it was I can't remember who wrote this. Oh yeah, Lynch's daughter actually wrote the Laura Palmer diary, the secret diary of Laura Palmer, which came out when the series came out. This is like a relatively new sort of print of it, but is really, really interesting. It adds more sort of character to who Laura was, which is really, really neatly done. Dale Cooper got his own book, which is the Cooper tapes, because he's constantly talking into a dictaphone through the show, talking to Diane, his secretary. And this is great because it goes right back to his childhood and that, when he first got like a reel-to-reel, and he used to just record everything. And he's a fascinating character too. So that was a really neat book. And more recently, they did 2 books. Called The Secret History of Twin Peaks, which is a beautiful hardcover, which is written by Mike Frost, and then the Final Dossier, which is another one by Mike Frost. So with all of that and the 48 odd episodes and the movie, you get a really, really well designed world of this small town in Washington State. It is available on Blu-ray and DVD in many forms. I've had it a couple of times over the years. I had it on DVD. I had this gold box which had the full TV series, and I gave that to a friend of mine because I was upgrading to the Blu-ray, and he was sort of that, I don't know, I've never seen it, and I went, here, have this, and I gave it to him because I didn't need it anymore, and a few months later he came back to me and said, that was awesome, that was brilliant, and I went to hand it back and went, no, it's yours, you can have that. Yes, so I've got this edition of the TV series, seasons 1 and 2, and it's got Fire Walk With Me on it, which is really, really neat. And they released the season 3 as well as another box set. There is a way to get it all in one, which is called Twin Peaks Zeta or Zeta if you're in the States. And that'll have all of that, both of them together in one volume. It's being republished. Funnily enough, they advertised that a few weeks before the passing of David Lynch, which was kind of sad that it all sort of happened at the one time. But yeah, it's as I said, it's one of those shows that it doesn't really fit a genre. It's multi-genre, and sometimes people will balk at that and go, no, I only like blah, I only like blah, I only like blah. But I do recommend you give it a go because, as I said, it is a little kooky, but it is so fleshed out, so really interestingly fleshed out. And I know a lot of, I got to say, it's, for those who haven't seen it and are willing to check it out, and I really do envy you because you don't have to wait the time that most of us did between the end of the show and season 3, between season 2 and season 3, that gap of 25 years. Granted, it was only like 20 years for me, but still a long time. So you get to see it all in one hit. And so if you do check it out, I hope you do. Just remember when you finish season 2 and maybe Firewalk with Me, if you watch it afterwards, that there's a huge gap. There's a massive amount of years between where it ended and where it picks up again and sort of dusts off again. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you're checking it out, and just imagine what it felt like for real diehard fans. Like, people are way more fans than I am. They were just like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. No one knew if it ever was, because Lynch was, well, as I said in my sort of video about David Lynch, he is a true artist and auteur and that, but there was no guarantee he was ever going to set foot back in the Twin Peaks world at all. None of us really believed he would, because he's a guy who just goes, right, I've got this idea, I'm going to do this next, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make some more music. And it's like, okay, that's great. Which is a good segue, because one of the other things about Twin Peaks, and I only got to play a little bit of it at the beginning of this, is the soundtrack is amazing. And I wish I could play the whole opening for you. I really do, because it's haunting and beautiful, and the imagery is amazing, where it's just this weird, beautiful town, and sawmills and stuff like that, and you just go, wow, this is great. But the music is brilliant, and there's the theme music, which Julie Cruz did, Falling, around the same time. That was big in the charts. I remember that back in the day. But there's certain sort of cue music through the show, and you'll just like, no, something's going to happen because this is playing, which is kind of neat. I kind of like that. But series 3, oh man, if you love music, it is really great, because one of the things they do with season 3 is they have a roadhouse, and periodically they'll go back to this roadhouse, and there'll be a band, like a real band, playing live in the show. Like Nine Inch Nails did stuff, and it's great. It's like, oh wow, this is cool. I get to watch my favorite characters interacting in a roadhouse, and there's Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails playing some music for me. It's kind of neat like that. It really is cool. So yeah, there's so many elements about this show that just work together beautifully. And I mean, honestly, the death of David Lynch really hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. It really did. Like, I always respected the man, and I didn't like everything he did. And no, I don't think anyone out there really does. It's like he just does what he wants to do, and he invites you to join him. And maybe you understand it, maybe you don't. Maybe you enjoy it, maybe you don't. But yeah, but there it is, his creativity done. So I have started rewatching the show, and I've gotten up to, I think I'm up to episode 4 now, or 5, not counting the pilot. So yeah, it's, and I'm like, today I was talking to a friend of mine on just having a chat to him. I said, yeah, I'm up to this episode, and funnily, I just today saw the episode that I started with, which is I think, as I said, episode 3 or 2, however you want to number it. But yeah, it's just, I was just like back in that my friend's house in 1996, watching it for the first time, going, man, this is so good, so interesting, so out there, and it just re-solidified why I really love this show. Plus, as I said, all the characters and all the threads that are just woven, like, it's going to sound tacky, but like a tapestry, and it's just neatly done, and there'll never be anything like it again. I had a customer today, we were talking about Lynch, and we both came to that same conclusion, that like, he was unique in everything he created, and there'll never be another person like him, because he's unique. But just the creativity level is just absolutely amazing. So so yeah, it's one of those things that it came out, it was massive success. It sort of petered off and disappeared. They made a movie. 25 years later, they brought it back again, and honestly, that's been an incredible thing in the last, say, 5 or 6 years or so. The return of a lot of old shows where they've gone, let's revisit this, let's do something else. Now, Twin Peaks is unique to the point where it's like, well, we were always planning on doing something, but it really did help open that for a lot of other shows where it's like Dexter came back and a whole bunch of other shows where they're just going, let's revisit this. So yeah, it's another great thing where it's like not everything's always dead and buried. So maybe some of your favorite shows may get another chance, but and if they do, that's awesome. If they don't, well, that's such is life. But yeah, for something that, as I said, is doesn't really fit in a category. It doesn't fit in a box. I remember when I used to have it on the shelf, like the DVDs, before I just went, I'll just do it alphabetical. I used to have it by genre. I'd have genres. I go, here's all the crime dramas. Here's all the sci-fi. Here's this. Here's that. Twin Peaks was just like, you're too kooky to fit in any specific category. So yeah, you're there. But and then I just went, I'll just do it all alphabetical. It's easier. But if you are really interested in something that's just a little out there, full of really, really great characters, really great dialogue, interesting sort of plot twists, I really do recommend Twin Peaks. Definitely check it out. That music will get earworming into you, and you'll get transported, as I said, to this small town in Washington State and trying to solve the mystery of who killed Laura Palmer. As I said, the cast is huge. It's just incredibly large, and so many great character actors involved in bringing everything to life in this show. So I'm not going to talk about all of them in any great detail because that video would go for hours. I'll talk about a few of them just to cover some of the main character actors and that you'll probably recognize from a whole bunch of other things. Starting with Kyle MacLachlan as Special Agent Dale Cooper of the FBI. One of those things that Lynch did, and a lot of directors do this, is they collect actors, and if they really like you, they'll bring you on for another role. And of course, Lynch worked with MacLachlan on Dune, where he played Paul Atreides, and yeah, so he was like, hey, he'll be great for Coop, and they worked together again on Blue Velvet, and yeah, they just worked really, really well together. Those just actor director pairing was really good. MacLachlan plays Coop so well. Like he has this awe and just friendliness about him. Like he doesn't suffer fools, but he's willing to give anything a go. He's so open-minded. Like he will use anything in his arsenal to solve a crime, whether it came to him in a dream, whether he's using some ancient sort of theology to try and focus for the the information. And he just does it well. He's got a great smile on his face. Loves his coffee. Loves his pie. Always giving a thumbs up. And really does have that sort of attitude of like you believe that he really loves doing his job and really wants to be there. Like he wants to not only solve the crime, but he likes everyone in the town, and he portrays it brilliantly. He's really, really good at it. So it just really added to the character as well. Also in the sheriff's department, you got Michael Onkeen as Harry S. Truman, who's really good. He plays the sheriff in a way that you imagine that he's like one of those law enforcers that are like, if he's going to arrest you, it's going to be, he'll just go, you're under arrest in a matter of fact way, but no, no brutality to him or anything like that. He's just like, well, we're going to put you in the drunk tank, blah, 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 that's it, sober up. So he's brilliant. He didn't come back for season 3 though, and I can't remember if it was because he was busy doing something else or he just didn't want to do it. But he was missed. I will say that. Like, Harry S. Truman was missed. They replaced him with his older brother, played by Robert Forster, who was another Truman, and he was great. He was really good. Robert Forster was a great actor, so he did it well. But yeah, Michael Allen Keane was missed. I will say that. You also got Michael Horse as Deputy Tommy Hawk, and he is great. He is so good. He did come back for season 3, and he looked exactly the same except his hair was white. It was really amazing. Harry Goz was Deputy Andy, who's got this sort of naivety and innocence about him, but he's really, really likable. And you've also got I'm trying to remember her name. The actual sheriff's department's secretary, Lucy. That's right, Lucy Moran, played by Kimmy Robinson. She's just really sweet, and she's got this great voice and very, very great demeanor about her. So the sheriff's department's really, really brilliantly put together, and Coop likes them all instantly too, and they just get on like a house on fire. It's really, really great. So great character actors, great choice. The victim that kicked it all off, Cheryl Lee plays Laura Palmer. She does a great job, even though like early on she's just playing a corpse, and then she's like in flashback videos and stuff like that. She also gets to play her own cousin, Maddie, who has just a different hair color, but looks obviously exactly the same as Laura. She does a great job. She's really, really great in it. Some of her friends are played by famous sort of character actors as well. You got Sherilyn Fenn as Audrey Horne, and Lara Flynn Boyle as Donna Hayward. They've done a heap of stuff as well between the two of them. You've got some of the local diner, the Double R local diner. It's run by Norma Jennings, played by Peggy Lipton, who was in the Mod Squad back in the day. She's done a heap of stuff too. She was amazing. Madsen Mick, who's done a lot of stuff as well. She plays Shelley, one of the waitresses down at the Double R. And Norma's basically big one of the people who's just in love with Norma, has been his entire life. Everett McGill plays Big Ed Hurley, and he is great. He's another June alumni. He's great. He played Stilgar in June. He has this look on his face, a lot of this like, what is going on here, because there's so much weird stuff going on. He's great, because he's very, very just stoic and sort of like and he's stuck in a sort of loveless marriage that he's part of just because of guilt. Some of the other more famous people in this, Jo Chen, she's great. She plays Jocelyn Packard, who owns the local mill. She's really, really great in it. We've got Don S. Davis, who plays Major General Briggs, who's sorry, not Major General, Major Garland Briggs, is Major General Hammond in Stargate SG-1. He unfortunately died in between seasons, but they managed to bring his character back in a way that really was made sense, and was a nice sort of send-off for him. You've also got several actors from RoboCop are in this movie as well, which is awesome. You got Miguel Ferrer played FBI agent Albert Rosenfeld. He sort of gets in the face of Sheriff Truman, which ends up getting him knuckle sandwich. Gets him knocked out, which is kind of funny. Well, not knocked out, but just like punched. He's one of my favorite character actors, Miguel Ferrer. I always loved every time he showed up in something. It was like, yay, Miguel Ferrer's in this. This is gonna be great. As I said, he was from RoboCop. He was Bob Morton, who built RoboCop, and he was also the helmsman for the USS Excelsior in Star Trek 3, for those who maybe care. The old man from RoboCop shows up later on the show for a couple of episodes, but the big actor from RoboCop, who is a main character in this show, is Ray Wise, who plays Leland Palmer, Laura Palmer's father, and he's brilliant. Ray Wise is one of those character actors that everything he's in, he elevates. He's got this $1 million smile, which is just incredible, and he's just rock solid in everything. He played one of Clarence Boddicer's team in RoboCop that killed Alex Murphy. So yeah, great, and that's just the bare bones. Didn't even go into season 3, where they've added so many other characters, and as I said, there's too many to check out. But if you do check the show out, you will get introduced to all of these wonderful characters. Playboy Early's brilliant character actors, and they won't disappoint. They really won't. So with that, as I said, I'll sign off, because I think I've talked enough about Twin Peaks, and hopefully I've conveyed why I really love this show. But and maybe I have inspired you to check it out for yourself. So if that's the case, I'm happy. If not, maybe next time. Maybe the next show might be more your speed. But with that, if you like this sort of content, and you consider liking and subscribing, and if you know someone who likes Twin Peaks who might like this video, consider sharing it. If you believe in life after love, that joke is probably going to get old quick, but that being said, as I said, hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.